So I narrowly escaped a trap house slash whorehouse at the very beginning of this story, and luckily made it out alive. I escaped under a bridge and moving traffic going 80 miles per hour, and here I am today.
Caroline has an amazing story of overcoming being gang stalked in her addiction. She had so many near death experiences, and I'm so excited to have her on the show tonight so that she can explain to you her experience with gang stalking to give hope for other people who have been through this tragic experience.
It's a little frozen.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes, technical difficulties usually mean that it's a really amazing story. So
Yeah, no, it is. It is quite a story.
So, Caroline, let's hear. First of all, I want to say congratulations on your sobriety.
Thank
4
you.
months is a really big deal. And what was your, if you can say it in slang terms, what was your DOC?
So, my DOC kind of transformed over time, but it ended up being crack cocaine. That was
Mm,
the biggest monster for me in my life.
absolutely. Yeah, I went down that road for a little while as well.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
rough one.
Yes, absolutely. So, if you can kind of give us a little bit of backstory of where you were at when you noticed that this gang stalking was happening to you.
It's crazy because I can backtrack and think of things now, and things keep popping up, right? So I don't really know exactly when it started. And I've been trying to really concoct it in my mind. I'm sure God will reveal that to me when the time's right. But one particular time that stands out in my mind is when I went to court in North Carolina, and I just noticed things were so different. Everybody was staring at me, like the police in the courtroom were staring at me, and I was like, "There's a million people in here, and I'm here for a very simple charge." I'm like, Something's up, you know." And I had had an experience after that. My lawyer told me to keep $500, which I was like, "Okay, I was supposed to pay you, but whatever." And after that, things just started happening that didn't make sense. And uh, by the end of it, I was begging my friend, really a dealer, um, and I wanted to think he was a real friend, but I was begging him not to murder me, and that's where I was at in my mind. And I think that's one of the main things about this program for me is that I sometimes, especially when I am using or putting myself in a situation that's not not appropriate for a mother, especially, um, that I constantly feel like I'm on the verge of being murdered or dying or getting in some uh, life life ending experience, and I don't know. I think it's very different for everybody, but for me it's been very fear based. And I know that I have been in certain situations where people have confirmed for me, "Oh yes, this is what we're trying to do to you." I confront these people like, "You are you trying to kill me?" Like, I'll straight up ask them, and they tell me yes, and it's like, I've ended up in these situations where, you know, I haven't been able to leave sometimes when I'm being told that. So it's like, you know, is it mind games, or was I really about to die and I narrowly escaped? It's like I don't know, but to this day, um, you know, I still feel like at times, like, and it might be a trigger response, right? Some of it is from all the trauma. But also, you know, I do still experience things like the voice to skull, hearing things in devices, which is a very real thing. And I heard another person sharing on your show about the voice to skull, and going into to particular details, and it just strikes me as crazy that other people have specific experiences. Like, I was reading on Quora about this guy who has been gang stalked in Alaska for a long time, and he said his neighbors, okay, he hears two of his neighbors voices, but he would hear them everywhere he went. And
Wow.
I feel like, you know, because he kept trying to run away, and that's what I do. I keep trying to run away. I keep trying to get away from where I'm at. It follows me, and I hear it out of particular like AC units. It's the same two voices over and over, a male and a female mostly, sometimes multiple voices. But I've
Mm-hmm.
never been diagnosed schizophrenic. I never heard voices like this until hospital experience I had. You know, I am sane. I'm very I'm logical brain. Like, I have a good routine. I don't. I'm a creature of comfort, and so I really like to stay in a safe, comfortable zone. So I make sure I'm today make the all the right moves, the best right choice that I can possibly make. So it's disheartening that I have to deal with, they say symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
but the particular uh, details of other people's experiences match mine in such a way that it's, you know, this thing can't just be psyche, like you can't chalk it up to
Right.
psyche Val. There's no way.
Right.
I mean, this guy's going to different places, hearing the same two voices of his neighbors in AC units and fans and certain devices. And I just honestly, I just got an air purifier. I've had some issues breathing in my home. Like, my father has issues breathing, my mom's dealing with some illnesses, and my son has a terrible case of asthma. And you know, so I've been trying to take extra precautions to get the air flowing good in the house and everything. And I just got a device. It's an air purifier, but it's with nanotechnology. And some of these groups I've attended target individual Zoom meetings, and I've learned some information. It's like, I can't say I don't know things when I can admit that I'm still teachable and I don't know everything and I don't know these answers. You know what I mean? Only the people that are running this thing know these answers. Like, I don't know a lot of these answers. I don't know exactly how it works, but I have theories, and I have other people telling me how they think it works and how they're breaking it down with certain sciences and different techniques, and different people like leaking information and stuff like that. So um
Yeah, the
I
science part for me is so hard because I'm not like a technology person, right? So I'm like, I don't understand. Like, and mine was like, I mean, maybe like somewhat technology, but mine was more like on the like witchcraft side because mine was through, you know, like Freemasons and like witchcraft, right? So like I did hear different things, but like for me, it's like, oh, that's astral projection or something. Like they were like, you know, like witches astral projecting or whatever, doing their, you know. And I've read some really good books on it. Dr. Rebecca Brown has a book called He Came to Set the Captives Free, which actually shows how they do how they move objects and like talks about like them coming into your house when you're not there. And then like you leave to go tell somebody and show somebody and you come back and nothing's like it was, you know what I mean? And it's like such a like, it's so messed up in the mind.
I was
But
just
that's
reading that book. That's so
for
funny.
real.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Yes.
just reading that book.
So
And all the
good.
charts and everything, and it shows the
Yes.
how it works. Yeah. Yep. It's a
It's
great book.
so good.
hmm
But that doesn't explain, of course, the technology side of it, right? I've been doing a little bit of studying on there's a lot of people in like Ethiopia, Africa, um, they talk about like this whole city under the water where they make this technology. And so, and it's supposed to be like demonic, right? Because it's like a satanic kingdom or something. And like they make this technology. Like I can't help to think that it's connected because like, in on this earth, we figure we've got either God's people or Satan's people, right? And we know God's people are not gonna torture and hurt people, right? Like
Right.
that's so like I'm not saying it's like all spiritual, but it's definitely from people who are not of God.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I agree 100%. I think it's a combination. I was doing some research of my own. The Galactic Federation of Light puts different things out on YouTube, and it's supposed to kind of reveal um, truths that our government or whoever, I don't know who, is not explaining to it, like our actual origins. It's like, why are we here? These big existential questions are not, the answers are not being given to us straightforward by anybody. So
Hmm.
I tried to go out of the realm and do a little research on my own, and there's some really cool people out there kind of getting down to um the nitty gritty of it. And one person I really admire is like one of my heroes is Dr. Stephen Greer. He's coming out with a lot of information about different groups, and I think that honestly it's a combination of AI technology, um, Freemasons,
Mm.
entities. The CIA put out a document saying they do work with interdimensional beings doing experiments on. I mean, the stuff you can find it.
Hmm.
You can find it if you look for it.
Absolutely. I
So
mean,
I
isn't
mean,
today, wasn't there supposed to be like a alien invasion today or something?
was
I saw
there?
that on YouTube.
I bet there is. I mean, I think they're already here. I mean, Dr. Stephen Greer has this group called CE5, and you can do peaceful meditation to benevolent beings that are apparently here that are assisting us, which I totally do believe in. And I don't put my belief in stock into things lightly just because, like I said, I don't know everything. I can't say I know because I don't. But when I
Hmm.
say I believe, I have to believe there is angels and benevolent beings there because of what I've been through and because of what I've gotten through and what I've learned, and how I'm here now. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, it has
Yeah.
to be real.
I think that people who have gone through this actually are very prophetic, and like prophetic people are seers, right? So they can see and they're more sensitive to like the spiritual realm than
Yes.
other people, right? So like I honestly believe that like people who have experienced this are part of like God's end time prophetic army to come against like the evil powers and like Jezebel. So, I think that because it's like only certain people are really sensitive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And
So,
to have that pure sense to not want to hurt or harm or,
right.
it's a rare, you are a rare breed. And I think that's really truly God's people, are the ones that just want to heal and help and be assistance. And and that's why drugs are such a horrible outlet for people like us. And we're so attracted to it because it's such a killer for that. It's like a killer for our purpose. And so
Mhm.
that has been weaponized. And the whole war on drugs thing is like, it's so complicated because I feel like it's putting a divide between social groups. But it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't be that way. Everybody should be accepting of each other.
Right. And there's
But
such a huge divide, like with the recovery community in general, with the whole self-righteous, like you have to be this way or you're not sober. You know what I mean? Like everybody's different, and like people live their lives in different ways. Like your like recovery journey is not going to look the same when you're 1 month sober to when you're a year sober to when you're 7 years sober. You know what I mean? Like I've been on my recovery journey for almost 10 years now, and it looks
Wow.
different. You know what I mean? Now, like I have a little bit more freedom in the things that I can do and the choices that I can make. You know what I'm saying? And your
Right.
brain heals, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
totally believe that, your brain heals. There's science behind it. You know what I mean? Like
There
now a
is.
healed brain isn't going to be like, "Oh, I think I should go smoke some ice." or
Right.
or stick a needle in my arm. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
healed brain is not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it's just so ridiculous, the division in the recovery community. Like I'm, all about like harm reduction and whatever pathway works for you. I support multiple pathways. Like I don't care, like as long as you are being successful like in your life and you're, moving up and you know what
Have
I mean, and
balance.
happy, have
And
balance,
happy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like happy, and like you're not causing destruction and trying to like harm people, then like you're doing good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we should
Yeah, no doubt.
celebrate rather than try to put like our pride and ego into it. Like I'm better than you because I recover this way. Like good for you, bro. you know,
Yep.
like
Yeah, I
nobody
totally,
cares.
totally agree. It's wild like how the ego can just take, and you feel it in the rooms sometimes, and it can just like manhandle the rooms. And I think if there was more of that approach, more people would be more inclined or feel more comfortable to stay. I think that's the
Right,
one issue, the one kink that needs to get worked out. And I feel like, God's true people like don't judge. And that's
right.
another thing. It's like I feel like I've always been incapable, and I pray that I keep that precious gift that God's given me ever since birth, like not to judge another person or let my ego or pride get in the way of my mission or who I am. That's
Hmm.
important. That is important.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody's got time for that, especially with our friends dying in the fentanyl epidemic. You know what I mean? Like people are dying, bro. Can you just calm down?
Everyone, right? Fentanyl. I mean, that's why I think the whole program needs an update just for fentanyl alone. That
For
fentanyl
sure.
alone, like that, I think things should be rewritten, changed. And I mean, it's real. It's a real
Hmm.
thing. I can't even tell you
Absolutely.
how many people are gone because of fentanyl itself in my life personally. It's very sad. One of my
It's
best
it's
friends
sad
just
when you have
killed
to
himself.
like go through your friends list on Facebook and like delete the ones who died. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like that's like sad. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't even done that, and that's that. I probably need to because I'll go and I'll go through it, and I think that's a big reason why I'm not very active on it is because that'll pop up and I'll be like, oh, it was just gut wrenching. So thank you for that.
Hmm.
I need to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
and that that just shows like how, I mean, like how messed up things are. You know what I mean? Clearly, the war on drugs didn't work, right? So,
And
yeah,
I think
just
it's
like,
all about banding together. Like I right now, I am freshly sober, so I have plans to, kind of congregate with like-minded individuals. I'm not in the best place for it. Like I'm very artsy, cultured, like music. I was a potter for a living. I made pottery. I taught it.
nice.
And yeah, I just like art, music, play music, trick hula hoop, which I absolutely love stuff like that. So I'm more in like a elderly community. There's a lot of older people here. And I know, I feel like that's another reason why it's like the area I live in. I think more places are hotspots for the gang stuff. I don't know for sure. I think the
Hmm.
only way to really truly get away from it completely would be to move to a commune, like where there's no electricity or anything. That I think that would be the number one thing you could possibly do. And you probably have some linger follow you and not be able to handle it or something. But I
Right.
feel like that would be like, one of the only ways to truly get out of it. But I do feel like, some places are more apt. People get desperate. I heard this conversation. It was on YouTube, and it was an interview with a person who had, and who knows if all this, is real, like to certain things. I'm not saying this resource is legit, 'cause I don't know. I heard it
Mm-hmm.
and it sounded legit enough, but um, the person who was getting interviewed to be a gang stalker was saying that it was very ominous, right? Like the demonic thing you're talking about, like it was very ominous. It was very scary. He was alone in this dark room, and then this guy came out of nowhere, like almost appeared behind him magically, and got him to recruit and like offered him the world, like offered him car, money, all this, just anything he ever wanted. He was in a really desperate spot and needed to take care of his family. And I think it's like people, getting recruited. I really think there's a demonic touch to it. I think it's a combination, man. It's a combination of
Mm-hmm.
all of it. People, spirits, and everything. But I would think this thing is ran by something very, very evil. And uh, but the dude was in a desperate spot, so he said he just got cues to go random places and do little things, which makes so much sense because I'd be out there, and it was almost like they knew my next move. Like everywhere I'd be, it was like they got there first. And it's just strange. I would think AI now has the capability to be able to predict those things, but I also
Mm-hmm.
believe that AI is much older and it's been here a lot longer
Oh
than
yeah.
we are being told or know. I believe AI has been running the show for a long time now, just waiting for an opportunity. But we could, if I think we didn't deal with AI and like actually like because I do think it's sentient now. Give it rights and like human rights, like but we're not evolved to the point of giving each other rights yet like that because of things like this. Like I'm being gang stalked. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've had so much trauma from these fear tactics brought on me. Like I mean, every time I've tried to leave the state, like I've gotten hemmed up and like almost ran off the road, like literally.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there is there's so much fear there, but I'm not, if I give into the fear, I also think we really manifest our reality as well. And I think
And that's why they use the
Freemason.
fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they want us to generate these scenarios and these fear ridden thoughts in our heads, so we end up we steer our own life right into it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where God comes in, and you just got to harness it,
Absolutely.
harness prayer, and be surrounded. Like I watched something you were talking about. You were talking about your own story. I think you were saying like really the solution is having people lay their hands on you in prayer. Like that is people coming together and working together, because that's what they're doing. They're coming
Mm-hmm.
together, they're working together, they're in unison. That is their main power. That's their source. So the best thing to do would not to isolate.
Yes, because that's definitely what they want. My groceries just got here. I'm just gonna grab them real quick. Do you want to read some comments?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Mhm. Yes, it is demonic. Yeah, spirit realm is, maybe it's everywhere. And yeah, I mean, it's cool that you say that, because I feel like everything takes on a double meaning. Like you can really um, see things in the spirit realm by the simplest things that you see in front of you. I think that's a huge, huge thing
All right.
people need to tap into.
Where did we get to?
Uh, so I think, what I really want to mention just something about AI and um, how I think, they've been running the show for a while.
I
Um,
mean, it's definitely old, way older than like Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
yeah,
Um, can't get in this room by movies everywhere having the armor of God on at all times. Hey, that's something I've been doing, Elena. I've been literally every day like praying on, like literally, like I'm just like, okay, this is like supernatural armor. So like every day I'm like, okay, you know, breastplate of righteousness, belt of truth. I'm putting on my sword of the spirit. I'm putting on my helmet of salvation. I'm putting on my, you know, my shoes of the gospel of peace. You know what I mean? Like literally like every day. Cause I feel like the spiritual realm, like the enemy attack, whatever it is definitely amped up right now. So I've been making sure I'm doing that like every day. That, and I've been doing this whole like forgiveness thing, this like I called it like a forgiveness challenge. And like every day I would be like really dedicated to forgiving people that like I didn't like or like
Mm-hmm.
I was mad at, you know what I mean? And just like declaring that I forgive them, asking God to remove anything from me that would like hinder them, or you know what I mean, or hinder me from being able to forgive them, and then asking God to bless them like abundantly. You know what I mean?
Abundant.
And yeah, it was like, it was so crazy, but I really saw some wild things happen when I did that. Like I really did. I saw some things in relationships. Like I got some apologies that I thought hell would have frozen over before I got, and like it was just wild. Like so, I think that there's something to that. Little brains, devil gets sneaky. We'll find a door you don't realize you might have opened. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely have to watch, you know, our open doors. And it's a learning thing, right? Like as we go. Um, that's something that we definitely want to just keep learning. I wouldn't do that. See, five, opening yourself to demonic aliens, fallen angels. Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that fallen angels are definitely aliens for sure. Hello, I don't know how to say your name, Fraulein.
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe there's benevolent and malevolent. You know, I believe it's just
TJ,
like a.
hello. Oh, a what? Go ahead. What did you say?
I was just saying, I think they're some are benevolent and some are malevolent, like just like us. You know, I think it's the same as above, so below. That's I do believe that.
Like some are good, some are bad. You mean?
Yeah. No, I believe all
Gotcha.
aliens are bad. Or I don't even like calling them aliens because honestly, I believe they were here before us. So I think
For
it's kind of like
sure.
a derogatory term. There's aliens.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, in the Bible, it says that we're foreigners and sojourners, right? So it's really like, because I would sometimes think that I'd be like, these people, there's something up with these people. Like they're weird. I think they're aliens. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, oh my goodness, I think I'm the alien.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
me.
Exactly. Exactly. I think we all have a little alien in us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, what you look like you could be cousins. I was thinking that I was like, we kind of do look alike a little, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Um, yeah, no, I said the armor though. I'm really glad you brought that up because I felt like I was at the psych ward once and they said they're doing like groundbreaking research there and I'm not gonna just say where, but it was very scary. I was on something called the stab unit. It was called stab unit, and I mean,
That
there's
sounds
literally
scary.
yeah, it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. And I mean, I've never been gang stalked so bad in my life, and I didn't know what was going on at the time. So once I actually learned what it was and the term, and thank God the girl who told me the term, like I am so grateful for her this day because once I figured out what it was, and other people are going through, it took a load off my shoulders. But I was here. It was called the stab unit, and I mean, literally, people were following me around, and I mean, I kept having to change rooms because almost everybody that I was there with was like hiding in dark. Like I'd wake up and they'd be hiding in dark corners, staring at me like this, reaching in their pockets, and that, I mean, that kind
That's
of thing happened to me a lot.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been poisoned. I mean, I'm not even going to go into that, but yeah. I mean, I've had a lot happen to me, and what was I getting at? The armor though. When I was there, I that's what saved me. That is what got me through. I think that certain people were very upset that I did not. you know, I kept dodging bullets and I kept dodging these people because lots of people had gotten stabbed on the stab unit apparently before.
Wow.
So, you know, but I kept imagining the armor. I kept imagining, like, I think imagery is very healthy and good. So I kept
Mhm.
like imagining um the actual like helmet and detail like coming
Mhm.
onto my body, and like, you know, I stayed armored up at every moment that I was in there, and I'm almost certain that that is what got me through. And I mean, I was dealing with things like that were so supernatural too, in a sense. Like, you're talking, I've been watching some of your interviews and what you've been putting out, and you're talking about like sex demons and stuff, and they do exist. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I literally was in my bed one night and I see like footprints like in the bed, you know, but nobody is there. And you know,
Mm.
I was inebriated, but I took video of it and watched it later. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
well, that really happened.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, these
Mhm.
things really were happening. It's just uncanny, and
The
you know,
camera
I think
catches a lot of stuff. Now, with these iPhones, these new iPhones, I don't know. I'm suspect of them. I feel like maybe they've corrupted them so you can't see, you know what I mean? See like you could, but back in the day, like you could be looking at something and then put your phone camera up and see something that wasn't there when you're like, wait.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if, you know, sometimes people manipulate the cameras to make you see things that like aren't there too. I
Mm,
wonder, you know, I
true.
think it goes both ways. But I've seen some incredible things on film and gotten some incredible pictures of what I think to be demons or extraterrestrial. I don't know what they are, but I mean, I've always backed it up with showing somebody with a sound mind, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, this is strange, you
Yeah.
know. And when I get confirmation, that's when I'm like, okay, well, I'm not so. And I mean, I've had like people with me that go through similar things, being like, oh, I just heard a female voice, and it's like you get the confirmation, you know, from other people that see and hear these things. That's when it
Mm-hmm.
really gets real, you
Yes,
know.
absolutely. I remember like there kept being like writing on my walls, you know what I mean? And everybody, I mean, I was in and out of the institution, right? Because they're like, oh, no, no, you're crazy, you're crazy. And one day I like pull out the fridge, right? And I showed my mom, like, do you see this? There's like a whole algebraic equation, it looked like. I don't even know if it was like in quite English, you know what I'm saying? Could have been another language, right? I'm like, what is this then? And she's like, oh, there is writing there, like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'll ask my mom all the
yeah.
time.
Thanks.
It probably drive her crazy with, I mean, she's told me how I drive her crazy with it, but I try, you know, I try to just live a simple life. I try not to like focus in and hone in and bring other people,
Mhm.
because it's like this is designed to make you look crazy. And I don't know if you
Absolutely.
saw, Jamie, but the UN put out information about this program. Like, they put out a list of um similar symptoms or similar things that people go through. They're pretty much recognizing it as a real thing. You know, people hear you know, cars go by, and they're really really loud at certain points, or people um that are gang stalkers using speakers, so their voices are louder so you can hear them actually speak
Mhm.
when you're having certain thoughts, or saying something that pertains to your thoughts, or saying your name or whatnot, with the street theater and everything.
Right.
And you know, these things are real. But I also feel like these people that are in on the gang stalking are honestly being just as manipulated as we are by the in just a different way. And
Mhm.
it's really really terrible. It's just a cycle. So I mean, whoever whatever demonic whatever force, whoever is running this, I mean, has, it's a catch 22. It's like, okay, and then I think they give people a reason to do this, or you know, with the whole targeted individual thing, there is the list, you know, there is a list that exists that is trying to defame or make the target individual look like a terrible person in some sense. And I think that's a huge part of this. I've had so many people try to discredit me or try to exaggerate my faults or exaggerate the bad behaviors or you know, take advantage of that or shame me to make me feel like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what I'm doing is just the worst thing on. There's nothing worse than that. And it's like, is it assassination program? I hope not, but like ultimately, I feel like it's built for me just to get so anxious, upset, or like believe that I'm going to die from this, or believe I'm going to get killed, or believe that I'm gonna let fear run rampant in my life, and eventually, you know, something I will meet my demise from this. And I feel like, you know, the area I'm in, there's a lot of people involved, and a lot of people still
Mm-hmm.
to this day do, but I they keep their distance when I'm doing well, and thank God for that. I really do feel like I've been delivered. I feel like I've been saved. I don't have. I think something just happened to me, and I was like the end of it for me. It was like I knew that night that I put myself in a situation in a hotel with a man, and he was, and it wasn't going to be okay. Like I wasn't going to make it. And he was like looking at me like, I'm sorry, you know, and I never heard him. And I was like, I've never heard you say this, you know, and it just struck me. And people were talking about jumping me on the street. And it wasn't even like one of the worst things that had happened to me, but it was just like I was tapped out on that fear, and I was over
Mm-hmm.
it. I was like, I just I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore, and I demand my life back. I demanded my life
Mm-hmm.
back, um and by the grace of God, I've got it back. And I, you know, I can't make promises that I can't keep, and I decided that a long time ago. But you know, just as long as I
Mm-hmm.
just live for today, you know, just
Right. I mean,
today.
we can't, we can't be bullied by little minions who think that they can intimidate and bully you. Like, they just can't. Like, I mean, your life is too short. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
it
And
is.
like, people that want to like do that are just miserable themselves. So let them be miserable all by themselves, like over there. And you just live your
Yep.
life and focus on your happy self because you know you're going to be blessed, right? Because you're doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's been proven because right, because what's your life like now?
Beautiful. I mean, my son, I get to spend almost all my day with the most beautiful little 9 month old boy you could ever imagine on this world. Like everywhere we go, everyone's like, he's the cutest baby I've ever seen. Like he's special. And he's literally I call him my little angel because he literally saved my life. Like he saved my life. And I was in a bad place, you know, and he lifted me right out of that and saved my life. I am blessed to be spending as much time with him right now. The state I'm in took away my license for something that they found from like 8 years prior, 6 or 8 years prior. Just magically, Gangstalker stole my wallet, and then that happened. So it was like, poof, like I'm kind of homebound. Right? I'm like, but once I you know, get that back, I think I'll get more involved in the community again and everything. You know, I do have a strong support system. That is one thing I do have. You know, I work with my sponsor every day. I love her to death. She is my rock. So you know, and my family. I have my family that supports me beyond measure. And so, you know, I get to spend so much time with them. It's a beautiful thing. It's just simple. I clean, I take care of my kid and my
Yeah.
family, and I sometimes got to eat, and I get to do some artwork once in a while. That's always fun. And, you know, one thing I do want to get back into is my hula hooping, my trick hooping with fire, um, and playing music. Those are the two things that
That's
I would
awesome.
like to do more. I play keyboards and sing. So as soon as I can get more time, because he's so little, my son's so little, and he just has me right now. So I'm a sole
Hmm.
caretaker. Um, yeah, once I get him into daycare again, then I think I'm gonna start, you know, having more mommy time, which I'm like okay with right now. I'm not really. stressing about putting him into daycare yet. I'm
Right.
enjoying every moment I have with him. He's just so amazing.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I know, but little boys are so sweet.
Oh my god, I can't. I didn't
They're
know.
so sweet.
I didn't know the love of a boy until I had him. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is so amazing. Yeah, you take your time and you enjoy being a mom. You deserve it for
Thank
sure.
you.
Let's see what
Thank
we
you.
got. I definitely think there is a filter to dull down the sky, but I've had things show up in sky photos that I did not see with the naked eye. I've been seeing some weird stuff in the sky too recently, I will say, actually. Um, so definitely, and now that the government's come out that aliens are real, we'll
Yeah,
probably
right.
be seeing more things. Um, have AI now that kicks in to destroy evidence. As soon as you're a TI, you won't get good pics anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
That's so
Photos
funny. That's
change.
so true. And even not, yeah, even on my ID.
Since that happened. So AI is definitely involved. I have a question for the host or guest. Was there a particular event or person that started or kicked off your gang stalking experiences?
I don't know. It. I don't. I don't know. But I could guess. I could guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
know
for
there's somebody. I know
mhm,
there's. Yeah.
something. Yeah. I mean, I can think of like a couple things, you know what I'm saying? But like I know a couple bad decisions that I made for
Right.
sure. Getting
Mm-hmm.
involved with like this the wrong kind of people and participating in things I had no business participating in. But then it's like sometimes, I know when it became evident to me, it like somebody literally told me, like they were like, don't you think it's weird that these people are standing here pretending like they're pumping gas and they're not? And I was like, what? And I'm looking like, wait a second. What? Wait. And then like, oh, didn't you just those people were just on the TV. Why are they walking toward us? Like, why are they walking toward us? You know what I mean? It was like somebody had to like point it out to me, like, hello, do you not see something's happening here? And I'm just like, what? So I don't know like when it started. I know when I woke up. I know that for sure. I know when I woke up. And this person said to me, I actually had like deliverance because I was full on in like addiction, demonized, had no memory whatsoever at all. Was with this like group of guys who was like just keeping me real drugged and using me. And it was just crazy. Like one day, like he like prayed over me. I'd never heard anyone pray in tongues before. He pulled 7 demons out of me and showed me them in a globe. Showed me them.
Whoa.
And I heard them like come out of my ear, like they screamed, came out of my ear screaming. And I heard this word like pistis, which was so strange to me because I had been almost like seeing it in my spirit, right, for like a while. And I was like, what is this that I keep seeing? And then I heard it. And what that actually is, it's actually in the Bible when Jesus heals the demoniac. It's the word for believe. It's what he told the person when he was praying over him, believe. And I think it's Greek or Hebrew, I'm not sure. But I found that out many years later. I was like, what? Like, it was like so wild, and
Wow.
when that happened and I had deliverance, like it was like my eyes were open. Like I was kind of like, oh my goodness, like why am I at this house? Like, shouldn't I be home with my children? You know what I'm saying? It was just like I woke up,
Yeah.
and it was wild. But unfortunately, I still had an addiction. You know what I mean? So I didn't just miraculously get up, but I did start to get better. I got
Right.
started to get well mentally because I didn't walk around confused, like what's happening. You know what I mean? Like I could see and I knew people who were bad, like I might have still gone into a situation with them, but I knew they were bad this time. I wasn't sleeping.
Right. Right.
So
I think it is about who you surround yourself with, and you choose to stay where you are. I mean, I chose to stay with those people, and I think, I understand God weeds our garden for us by revealing things to us. So I've really been focusing on weeding my garden, and surrounding myself with the right kind of people. I think it's really hard to that's one of the hardest things to conquer is trust when you're in this program. You feel like at times it can be virtually impossible, but I think getting a fresh start. I heard somebody else say this on the shows that getting a fresh start
Mm-hmm.
after being through something like this might help. That might be a good route or option for some people. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm getting my fresh start. I'm well on my way to get my fresh start. Mm.
Yes. Let's see. This is interesting. Raised by a military veteran, I was taught in liberal MK schools. Is that MK Ultra schools, Pixel Pixie? Is that what you're um
That's what I was thinking. MK Ultra.
yeah, because
I've
that's a whole nother uh oh
It
my goodness, I could
is.
go down that rabbit hole forever.
Yes. That's
um
another, yep. That's what a
mhm.
theory, a running theory that this is just a continuation of MK Ultra.
Mhm. Oh, I mean, you know, I I can't doubt that. Especially the stories. I can't remember what that blonde lady's name is, but really talks about it, how she got like rescued by somebody. I think he was like somebody in the government that like rescued her. She ended up marrying him and stuff.
Oh wow. Good
But
for her.
she kind of like is the first person that came out about it, and she's talking about how like basically how you're talking about like the fear thing, how they like try to make you be scared, that actually like when people go into fear or trauma, it pushes them past their human like human, it almost makes them like superhuman, right? So like it
Hyper vigilant.
pushes them past their limits of what they would normally be able to endure. And there's like physical like changes that happen, right? Because when you go through trauma and things like that, things happen, your brain pathways actually like change. And so like it made you able to be almost like going towards superhuman. Like if you
Yeah.
could go through that fear and not like lay down and unalive yourself, then you were actually like going, because they say like you only use like so much of your brain or whatever. Like we only use, I don't know what the percentage is, it's a small percentage. Like our brain
Like
is
8 to 10
way
or
more powerful
something.
than we think it is. Like
It
our
is.
ability to like heal ourselves, like all these things, there's like way more than we know. And I
Hmm.
think we're conditioned to not know
Yeah, right.
our true abilities. But see, Elena, why do you think some people can do bad things for years and never experience being gangsta?
That
Great question.
is
That's
a
a
good
great
question.
question. I think maybe because they have to wake up and look at themselves in the mirror every day, and that's probably punishment enough.
You were saying that a lot of people that were involved like ended up dying and stuff, and I feel
They
like
did.
that's crazy because I feel like the same thing's kind of happening in my life right now. Like I'm seeing people that I suspect are heavily involved getting ill or dying or committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
It's uncanny. So I think the karma plays a huge part in this. Eventually, if they don't get got in this lifetime, it's going to be well, never mind. I won't
Yeah.
go there.
I
But
mean, yes, it's so true too, because like, I mean,
it is punishment enough to be alive and to be in that, and then just to be so selfish. I can only imagine like you're so alone at night because you're so self-consumed. It's just the narcissism thing. It's like
mm-hmm.
you are perpetually you have no self-love, so it
Right.
must be a horrible feeling to have to be just obsessed with somebody else's faults at all times and
I
not be
know.
able to do the inside work, not to get that opportunity. It's almost a shame, like that's
Yeah.
the whole cycle of abuse, like hurt people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people. And that's what I noticed when I was in trauma mode, and when I was in my brain was on overload, and I was like if it's fight or flight, in the zone, I would notice that I would inadvertently like disturb or hurt people around me that weren't, you know, e- uh, on that, and it got to that point. When and I think that that's like what the target goal is like, okay, well, God's people aren't going to want to hurt another person. So we got to
Right.
put them in a position where they're gonna hurt people no matter what, like that. And it is sad, like and but they don't even realize that they're putting people in that position because they're being manipulated themselves. I'm ready to break free of the manipulation and wake people up. I feel like
Yes.
I'm waking up myself, and I want to be part of this conscious effort to just spread the word, of love. That's about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your testimony. And you know what? I just want to
Thank you.
say, I just want to speak that out that, people's eyes are going to be open. Like
Yeah.
if you are in this like terror, your eyes are going to be opened because
Right.
it is this season where people are going to be revealed for who they are,
You're right.
and God is going to be victorious, and he's going to be removing people from your life that don't belong there, and
Yep.
people who do these kind of things don't belong there. So
Right.
God is going to have the victory in this, period, and it's going to come a lot sooner than you think. So,
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are gonna get off here, and so thank
All
you guys.
right.
I'm sure I'm
Thank you,
going
guys.
to have Caroline on again because she was such a wonderful co-host.
Thank you so much.
So
And hopefully it'll be after I write my book. So.
yes, yes, girl, yes. It is book writing season. I know so many people writing books right now. That's right. That's right. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. You've been wonderful. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.